You know, when you transcribe, you take down lines from the people that you're most influenced by and that you're really into at the moment, and you take these lines down from the records, you imitate them, you take them into your playing, you assimilate it, and then from there onwards, after having imitated it and assimilated it into your playing, you turn it into your own. You know, you innovate on top of it. That's the Clark Terry principle, right? Imitation, assimilation, innovation. Another thing that I do alongside that, because I've done a lot of transcribing and continue to transcribe all the time, is I have a little black book. I love my little black book. And what I do is at the top of the page, I write down the artist. It could be somebody like, I don't know, Chris Hunter or David Sanborn, Joe Henderson, Wayne Shorter. And then underneath that, I put subheadings. These subheadings are melody, harmony, rhythm. Melody, harmony, and rhythm. And so when I listen to something that I'm transcribing, I will listen analytically. There's two ways of listening to something. There's listening to it in a joyful way, feeling the music, getting into the track that you're listening to, and just letting it engulf you, right? The joy of the track, the joy of the album, just really submerging into it, letting it move you. Then there's listening to it analytically, which is something that we should be doing. It's like how a literature student would analyze a piece of literature. You know, they would like fragment it, and they would dissect it, and they would really, you know, get into the essence of the whole book itself. Do the same thing with the albums that you're transcribing. So this is where my little black book comes into it. So I've got the artist at the top of the page, the name, and then I've got these subheadings: melody, harmony, rhythm. Melody, harmony, and rhythm. Think of it like a triangle. And each corner represents one of the elements of music. There's melody, there's harmony, there's rhythm. Okay? All interchangeable as one. And when I'm analytically listening to the artist, I'm listening to what they're doing melodically, I'm listening to what they're doing harmonically, I'm listening to what they're doing rhythmically. And what I'll do beside that, I won't really write any notation out, but I'll write in words. I'll make it tangible for myself. What are they doing rhythmically? How can I define that? How can I define that to myself? Are they using something that's hip with regards to triplets? How are they phrasing? The on-beats or the off-beats? What kind of fluency are they playing it with? How are they using space? Harmonically, I'll be writing down what kind of scale properties they're using, chord-scale relationship. And then melodically, I'll be writing down what kind of compositional tools they're using to create a flow within their playing. So it could be something like sequencing a line, it could be something like making a variation upon a line. There's a whole list of them. I can't really go into it now. I can do at a later date, but not now. And so you're writing a list of what they're doing harmonically, rhythmically, melodically, so that you can see it. And so you're not just transcribing the lines in order for the lines to get into your playing, to imitate them, to assimilate them, but alongside that, you've got your black book and you're looking at the concepts of what makes that player so evident to you. So then you can see what they're doing conceptually. And then once you can see what they're doing conceptually, you can also then take those concepts and practice them independently in your own way, and explore practicing them in your own way over a standard perhaps, or over any kind of chord sequence. And then when you take that standard or that chord sequence of a tune that you like, just play a game with yourself, and at the top of the page of that music, of that standard, just write 2 to 3 bullet points, and one of those bullet points will be one of the concepts: a melodic concept, a rhythmic concept, a harmonic concept perhaps, and practice that over the entire form of the tune, or perhaps the first 16 bars of the tune, or just the middle 8 of the tune. And it's a nice idea to practice. You can start to bleed these concepts from your favourite influences into your practice regime. And so you can start to find a different angle to the flow of your improvising and the flow of the nature of your soloing, and that will slowly bleed in and bleed in and bleed in, and eventually become part of your overall playing. I love my black book. I've got all sorts of plays in my black book, and I add to it all the time. It's like having a cookbook, a recipe book, right? I did a video, a few videos down from here, when I started talking about, jazz soloing and food. It was sort of the same thing. So you're coming up with like a recipe book, and then, like any recipes really, you think about when you're, following this is what I do when I follow a recipe. When I'm cooking something, I always kind of go off of one and I jazz it up. I start jazzing it up, and I start, adding a little bit of something else to the recipe, or changing the measurements of the ingredients. And it's like that. It's like having a recipe book from different players, where you are tangibly defining what they're doing with their concepts, that if you put them all together, it kind of defines their playing. So it's a really good idea, and it's a really fun way to approach your practice, and also to approach practicing over repertoire as well, by making these bullet points derived from your black book. Give it a try. It's fun, and it works as well, so give it a try.